Now, well, it's not just humans who are affected by the flooding that we've been seeing in our area. Molly Riehl is live in Galt, getting more details on who else is affected. Look at this beautiful animal.
Yes, this is Stallone. He is 24. We are checking in on some of our four-legged friends out here in Galt. As you said, Courtney, it's not just as humans who have been affected by the rains. Stallone is one of about 23 horses here at Riehl Ranch that are part of Hope for Horses. This is an organization that rehabilitates and rehomes horses, and they have weathered quite the storm. As you can see, a lot of the horses, they're a little bit antsy because they need to get moving. So Danielle is on the board and the volunteer coordinator here. And tell us how the recent flooding affected you guys here in Galt.
Well, it was actually quite frightening. We had quite a bit of flooding, almost up to the level of the barn. That's why you see the road base out here getting prepared for the next coming storm.
Yeah, and we do have some pictures that we can show as you're talking about it.
Yes. So we ran into some trouble when the stalls got wet, and so it required our volunteers to remove all the bedding and replace the bedding with shavings that we had stacked out by our hay. So we basically have gone through a whole pallet of shavings in the last several days to rebed all the horses so that they can stay dry. And we did sustain a little bit of damage to our hay that was supposed to carry us through March, April, or at least until the springtime. So we're a little concerned about feeding the horses with the hay that we have left. So that's been a challenge as well.
Yeah. So you were out here Saturday when the rain really started to hit. You weren't able to come in Sunday. You're out in Wilton too, so you've been personally affected by the flooding. But talk about the horses and you know their behaviors in a storm like this.
So with the storm, we are hesitant to put them out into pastures or paddocks like we have here because it's slippery, it's wet, and they can get cold just like we do. So it has required us to keep the horses in the stalls, and they aren't getting the turnout that they normally get. Turnout is important for them to socialize, to have exercise, to be able to roll around and just relax. So they get pent up and they get anxious, and just like we do.
Yeah, and you were talking about the hay, so we'll look over at those hay stacks right there. That bottom layer of that, as you said, that hay is supposed to get you through March. That whole bottom layer is ruined from the storm that you already have, not to mention the storm that's coming up.
That is correct. So it's necessary for us to make sure that we have enough hay to get us through a season because we don't always have access to hay. We're hoping that we can get through at least a next delivery. We're not going to be sure exactly when that is. It just is really dependent on the weather.
Yeah. So as you're preparing for the next storm, and I just want to come over and see this guy because he's awfully sweet, how can folks help? Because I know people can't get out here, a lot of people, with the flooding, but how can they help from home? I'm sure a lot of our viewers are anxious to know what they can do.
Well, we are a 501c, so we do rely on funding and donations. So at this time, donations would be so much appreciated. We've done very well since our move here and have relied heavily on the support of donations and our volunteers, and we have a fantastic community that has really launched us into a fantastic new year. Now we are just dealing with the storm.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of very sweet horses out here, a lot of humans with big hearts, and we wish you the best as you weather the next storm. I hope you can stay dry and well fed, and if you do want to help or if you just want to learn more about Hope for Horses, we have that website and their Instagram page on our website as well. I'm going to get a little bit of horse love as we send it back to you in the studio.
They do such great work with those beautiful
they're
animals.
just...
Look at, give me the lovin's. Oh, thank you, Molly. Sweetie.